Hey guys, we are back with another episode of Deception and Healthcare in America with Kathy Ann and Jennifer. And I was unable to, be in on the last podcast, so I'm gonna kind of, I, I, I I was able to listen to it and be in the audience like you guys, and I thought she did a really, really good job. She kind of captivated me. I think I listened to it at least 4 times. So I was unable to comment, and I think my brain is just so full with comments and things that I'm like, oh, I'm missing out on the best podcast. That she did a really good job. So, anyways, we were gonna kind of come back and circle back around on some of the stuff that she said. I was gonna let her just go over a few key points and just kind of let freestyle and let that take us where it will. And then we were going to hit on Ozempic. That seems to be the hot topic these days. I don't care where you go. It could be a neighbor, a family member. I guarantee, and I know for a fact, everyone knows someone or several people taking Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, Zepbound, Semaglutide. Um, anyways, these GLP-1 drugs. Uh, anyways, so I'm gonna let Kathy in. I wanted her to kind of just circle back around on to one of the most important parts that she was talking about when she was talking about, the gestational diabetes. Go ahead, Kathy Ann.
Well, I just want to let you guys know that that was one of the most poignant things that ever happened to me, where I didn't trust the healthcare system, and I was able to control my gestational diabetes, if I even really had it, with eating proper food and stuff like that. Speaking of Ozempic, I have a little confession to make. I took it. And I'm not embarrassed to say I did. I was injured more than 2 years ago, a neck injury, and I gained 30 pounds. And about a year ago, I guess I began to wake up. It's a long story. Couldn't really hold thoughts in my head. And it was hard to do day-to-day activities. But as my personality came back, and as I came back, I realized, holy shit, you put on 30 pounds. And some of the time I was bedridden, and I always tried to walk every day, but I'm going to be honest with you. I was eating a lot of nachos because it's my favorite food, and I thought I was going to die. And that way, I mean, you can put on 30 pounds in a year. I mean, one time I put on 10 pounds in one day. So, but anyways, about a year ago when I woke up and I was like, holy moly, you got really fat. And my doctor prescribed me, I don't even know how to say it, Jennifer, semaglutide.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I was prescribed that to help me lose some weight. And
Semaglutide is just the generic version of Ozempic, is all that is. So it's the same thing, same manufacturer. They're just able to manufacture it cheaper. It's kind of like my whole insulin situation. They gave me the generic version of it, and I end up finding it's the same exact thing. They're just able to manufacture it for way cheaper. So that's the same situation with that's Ozempic. That's all that is. That is Ozempic.
okay. It was
You just
made at a compounding pharmacy, so it's not name
have,
brand.
okay.
Um,
Well,
so
the thing about that is, I would like to ask. So, I mean, I already kind of know the story, but for everybody listening, so you were having this pain. You were going through this issue. You had a chiropractic injury that uh led you to down this road of severe pain, and we can talk about that, or you've hit on it some, but I think everybody knows that part. But so anyways, it led you down this path of severe pain. I know I even came and stayed with you. Like, it was, I've never seen anything like that, and you're just not even a complainer. So for you to even say you were in that kind of pain, like, I knew it was even worse than what you were able to describe, right? So how far into this pain, like, were you a few months into it? Like, and what doctor were you seeing? And was this their first option? Is this what they offered you, or how did that transpire as far as getting that in your hands?
so it was about a year after my injury.
Okay.
Like my brain, I had a hard time thinking or holding a thought, but
Right.
as I got better, I could see everything I was doing wrong, with my food and with, um, I guess I could think. And I thought, and I walk every day. I walked every single day,
Mhm.
even after my injury. The thing is I thought I was going to die. So I was eating nachos, pizza. I couldn't cook. So my husband, he would order, Papa John's pizza, or we'd get Chick-fil-A, pick up enchiladas from Rose's Cafe. They're just so good. And so that's how we ate for like a year. It was a lot of fast food because I couldn't cook.
I know when I
And
had like a freezer full of, you had a lot of frozen stuff actually, and you still had some healthy snacks and stuff. Like the girls, I noticed like they were able to grab mozzarella cheese, like fresh stuff. So you were not like I saw it for what it was. I know it wasn't what you would choose or what you would be doing, but I know when he was out of town, so it was kind of like, it was like, well, you get in there and eat the freezer stuff and whatnot. But yeah, that I
yeah,
was there. I literally was able to walk in and see and feel what you were living, and it was, yeah, you were in that much pain. So that's why I was curious, how long did they exhaust other means and options before they said, hey, here's some Ozempic? Because that's
so
Ozempic. I didn't call it, that's what it is.
yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because I have eaten low carb since I was like 23 or 24, and it's always how I've stayed. I'll go off it or I'll cheat. And this was like a long time for me not eating the way I usually do. And so to answer your question
Mhm.
is, no one has ever gone over my diet with me or asked me to lose weight the proper way by eating healthier foods and exercising. So it was my primary care doctor, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I like her a lot. She is so clever. Okay, so I'm not gonna fault her for her giving me the medicine without having me first change my diet, um, because she knew that I was in a lot of pain.
What it was, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, she knew, and actually, she's the one who gave me the correct diagnosis and sent me to the correct people. She was the only one. Um, so I find her to be very clever. But she understood that I couldn't lose weight, and she understood that I put on weight very quickly. And so she offered it to me and said people get good results.
Hmm.
And I took it because I thought, because sometimes so I don't know how everybody is, but I know how I am. If you lose 5 pounds, you're motivated to lose five more. Does that make
Huh.
sense? Like
Right.
it makes you motivated.
Yeah,
And
motivated by what they see. That's yeah, I mean, that's the biggest motivator we have. We're motivated by images, you know?
yeah, so I thought if I could take off, a good, 10 pounds or so, I would feel better and be motivated to make changes to get me to
Right.
lose more. So I wasn't looking at this as I'm going to take this forever. I was looking at it as I'm going to lose like 10 pounds and then I'm going to take control of my life.
Life motivation, and that's what it's for. That is what it's for. That is what it is designed for. That is exactly what it's designed for. So,
so, so I, I didn't, so I'll tell you what really happened. I took the shot and it made me feel horrible. And it made me feel like I needed to throw up constantly. I didn't, it made me feel like I didn't have any cravings for food. It made me feel like food was blah, I guess. I like sometimes you're like, "Ooh, I'm going to eat a piece of cheesecake," and you get super excited about it. So, when I took this, I just didn't get excited about food. It was just blurred. Um,
that's because GLP-1, it's a hormone that's activated in our small intestine, and so whenever you take this injection, um and it lasts, what you took one, it was supposed to be like what, a week, or how did they have you doing it? Because yours was such a microdose that I'm unfamiliar with. I've never heard of anything less than 2.5 as a starting, point. So you said that was 0.75. How was that prescribed? Was that to be taken daily or?
This was it's once a week.
Oh, that's once a week. Wow, that is literally a microdose for it to affect you that powerfully right off the get go. That's insane. And then also what it does when that hormone is activated, it also tells a part of your brain. It says, hey, you're not hungry. Like you're just not that hungry anymore. So that's where it shut. All these things are activated at the same time. So that's why you got the nausea, and that's why you got. So everything is basically like, hey, you don't really want any food right now. Like if you just didn't eat it all, you probably would have just felt better for trying not to even eat anything. Because if you would eat something, most people I know, they're like sipping on Coke to get the carbonation, to like get that. You know how a lot of people go straight to Coke because if you'll pour Coke like on a battery or something, it eats the acid. So if you pour that in your stomach, it is a temporary relief because it's actually just doing worse damage. It's messing with the pH balance of your stomach, but in the moment it does feel better just to have that Coke go down, right? Just regular Coke. I don't know what it is
Well,
about Coke. A lot of people use that. And Tums. They'll live on Tums and Rolaids, and they drink the what is the green stuff? Is it green? No, not the green, the pink.
the pink, but Pepto.
Yeah, people drink the Pepto Bismol. I've heard of people carrying a bottle around with them in their bag or their purse, and they're in the bathroom, drinking Pepto Bismol just to coat their stomach. And so for such a small dose, I mean, that just tells people we all have different tolerances. Like you were completely, it sounds like 100% intolerant. I mean, that is such a small dose. Can you even imagine taking 2.5 or 5, 7.5, or 12? I mean, this is what people are on.
Well, I mean, I couldn't even imagine like drinking a Coke with it because the point of it is to lose weight. And if you're drinking that Coke, then that
Well,
like is completely the opposite of what you should do. But I do
and
understand that because I did have to take Tums. And I did put
I
apple
bet.
cider vinegar in my water because my stomach felt so horrible.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and don't even get me started on Tums and the food dyes and the Tums. Just I can't do it. Like
Well, the GLP-1, when it activates the GLP-1 receptor, the hormone you already have, so it activates it. It prevents sugar from building up in the bloodstream. So that's why people like this. They go and take this shot, and yeah, I feel shitty. I have a stomach ache, and now after a while, you do build a tolerance to the stomach ache. So if you just stay with it, so this is what people do because they know they can build the tolerance. So they start with the small doses, and the doctor adjusts it like or so till they can tolerate it as high as they can. So you got to imagine they can still eat their pizza, they can still eat their nachos. They're going out eating, sushi and all these things. They're just not eating as much. So they're eating more frequently throughout the day because most people are addicted to food. Okay, let's not dance around it. Food can be an addiction. And for most people that end up overweight from overeating, or they just can't control their their I don't want to say food addiction. It is an addiction, but some people aren't even just truly addicted to food, like maybe a 500 or 600 pound person. That's a real addiction. We can all see it. It is what it is. But some people just have certain addictions that they fight that you may not see. Like they may carry candy around and they just eat candy all day. Then they're drinking sodas. And so all these things add up. Well, it's a lifestyle. So it's their lifestyle. So until you dig in someone's lifestyle, you get a food log from them. You're going, oh, like me, that's what I do for a living. I'm a nutritionist. So they hand me, I look at a person and I say, well, you don't really seem to be doing anything. So, now I'm going to have to get personal. So if you want to hire me now, I got to get personal because I can help you if I can see what you're putting in your mouth. We're talking condiments. We're talking everything. Some people, it's just straight soda. I know people drink 10, 12 sodas a day. They cut out the sodas and we do one soda a day and they're like, oh, I lost 12 pounds in 2 weeks. So, well, there's people that don't want to do these changes, right? They just want to lose 20 pounds by the time summer gets here, or um, they've got a wedding coming. Their daughter or son is getting married. Hey, I've got 3 months and I need to get in here and I need to start these injections. Well, of course they're going to lose weight. First the water weight goes, then it starts, depleting your muscles, right? So, but it allows people to keep this lifestyle. They're not having to do anything else. I don't need to go get my steps in. I don't need to do anything. I just keep doing what I'm doing and take this injection, and sure, I feel shitty. And I'm not even replacing the nutrients that it's taking from me. And that's why I say that's why I know it offends a lot of people when I say to take the easy road, but it is. It's because that is doing all the work that you could go, do yourself. You can physically do all the stuff that's doing. Now, if someone is just like really large and they're fixing to have a surgery, or, it's like life threatening at this point. Yes, I believe this drug. Yes, that's what it's designed for. It's designed to go and help someone change their lifestyle and change their brain. It does. It goes in and tells the brain you're not hungry. I mean, that's what it's doing. So if you're not hungry, if it says you're not hungry, you're not hungry. So it turns that off, right? And then the stomach does not digest at the right speed. It slows it like almost down to nothing. So like, let's say your stomach, moves like this. Well, then you're taking Ozempic or whatever, you're taking Majerno, whatever, or Trulicity. It's like a very slow, and it says, "Ooh, boom, I'm full." I mean, I know a lot of people get 5, 6 bites in and they can't even finish anything on a saucer plate, right? But then what they're putting on this saucer plate is pizza or whatever it is they're eating. I don't know, Chinese food. Okay, so my belief is I've seen horrible things with this drug, especially after someone comes off of it. They usually, on average, gain double back. I've seen people gain triple, but it's because it's just sucking water weight as taking a drink. Yeah, it's sad because people then they go back and ask for it again. So now it's like, now it just becomes like, what is this going to be? Something we take like a vitamin? Like, is this replacing? Like, is this like, this is a hormone? Like vitamin D is a hormone. So are we going to treat this like vitamin D? And just I don't know. What are we doing? Um, but I feel like if you're gonna do Ozempic or any of these GLP-1 drugs, it's like when someone tells you like you have gestational diabetes, or oh, you're type 2, or you're a type 1. What is your next thing? Who is the next person you see immediately? Who is the next face you see immediately after that doctor diagnoses you with whatever type of diabetes you have? What is the next person you speak with?
You see the diabetes nurse.
Right, the nutritionist. They're
Yeah.
registered.
Yeah, she's a nutritionist as well. Yeah.
Right, because this is going to be the driver of, where you're going from this point forward. Are you going to make this worse? Are we going to slow this down? Are we going to reverse it like type 1? Not reversible. Autoimmune. Like you're moving forward, but how much control do you want to have? How long do you want to live? How many limbs and organs do you want to keep? With type 2, hey, you're just getting started here. Let's reverse it. Gestational, let's keep everything smooth. Let's control this thing. I mean, like under a microscope, so your baby can come out healthy, no complications. Okay, so there's your 3 scenarios. But yes, you're right. The first person that you see, immediately after seeing that doctor, is a nutritionist. And if you're type 1, you're probably in the hospital just finding out you're type 1, because type 1s always go into ketoacidosis, diabetic ketoacidosis. They usually end up a week or 2 in the hospital because they have to take so much insulin, and you have to learn how to not kill yourself, how to keep yourself alive. Total different thing. But anyways, with type 2, it's usually, hey, here's some metformin, go see the nutritionist. That's your first step. And you shouldn't even be on metformin very long, if you go fill it at all. You know what I mean? So yeah, this GLP-1 is like, let's skip all that. Let's take an injection and keep doing what we're doing. So what are we doing here? What is this the prelude to? Because it's like, forget health, forget nutrition, just keep doing what you're doing. When this was initially came out as it was supposed to be a lifestyle, as a type 2 diabetes drug, so it keeps sugar from entering the bloodstream, so we can keep the blood sugar down. You keep the blood sugar down, you keep insulin levels down. You keep insulin levels down, the metabolic system can now work properly. So when you're eating all this shit food, all this processed food, all this candy, all these cookies, all these high glycemic, crap processed foods, your insulin levels are shooting up constantly. You don't have to have diabetes yet. Like, a person can do this that doesn't have diabetes. Your insulin levels are shooting up every time you do that. Well, how high are you shooting them and for how long? And then you're stuff in your face again. So this drug steps in and pulls all that stuff back down, right? So your metabolic system can now jump in place and all the gears can turn and everything works in harmony. And so while you're busy taking this drug, let's say you do it 3 to 6 months, I don't know, whatever you and your doctor deem is reasonable for you to get your lifestyle changed. Now you come off this drug. Now you just keep moving along seamlessly. Except now you're not dealing with stomach aches. You're not dealing with, now you've got to really control yourself, because as this drug wears off, it takes like 5 weeks. The half-life on it is pretty pretty potent. So like if you've been on it long term, which I say 3 to 6 months. So when you come off, it's, it takes 5 weeks to get out of your system fully. I mean, 100%. So now your brain and all that's not being told, hey, you're not hungry. You're everything about you is going to kick back in. You're not going to have stomach aches. You could go clean out a pizza. Now your stomach is shrunk at this point. So that's why I'm saying you've shrunk it down. Now, are you going to continue on that path? You know, and I've seen people that eat crappy diets and you would never know from the outside. It just affects the inside. So once again, that has a different side effect. You could still eat crappy diet, but it's going to catch you at some point. You're either going to have a heart attack, a stroke, whatever. I don't know. It's going to show up somewhere. But that just goes to show, though, the amount of food that you eat. I mean, you can control. I've seen people on horrible diets. Like, my dad, horrible diet my whole life. And this man golfs and runs. He looks athletic. I mean, even as a 70-year-old man from the outside, this man can out jog me. Okay. Not as of recently, I mean, he just had a stroke because of his food and because he smokes and does all these lifestyle things. But he could have probably lived, no joke, to very close to 100 years old had he had a better diet, no smoking, no dipping. And so that just goes to show you can still eat really, really, really crappy if you've got great genetics, and it will still carry you a long way, and it's not going to show up. But, it's like, once again, it's quality of life. So we go back to the shot. Do you want to take this shot and feel horrible? Because I don't know anybody that feels great on it. They start looking good. They start you lose weight really fast. Like I said, water weight is the first thing to go. So when you think you've lost 5 or 8 pounds, no, you lost water. So number one, are you staying hydrated, and are you eating a lot of protein? This is the two things these are very, very important. And try to be active if you can, because that supports your muscle, right? So try to be active. I don't care if you're just getting steps in and you're probably not feeling good. So that's what you need to do, because you're going to have some serious consequences. Osteoporosis. I've seen people that took this for like up to a year and lost, terrible, like a lot of bone structure and muscle mass is just gone. Muscle holds your bone up. So once it's done eating at your muscle, what do you think it moves on to from the water to the muscle to the what? Bone. Now I've got bone deterioration. So this is just this is like playing with fire. These doctors know how it works. Yes. And you need to know what you're doing. You need to educate yourself. They're all about the same. I know some of them have more of a side effect in some areas than others. I've heard Mounjaro. I think most people like it. I know a lot of people that take Mounjaro and Ozempic. Those are the two of the big ones. And then the one you took, that's just the generic to Ozempic. So it's just cheaper. But I mean, I don't know. It's just, this is a hot topic. I mean, you can say that word and I mean, you're going to have heads whip and roll really fast. And so depending on what comes out of your mouth next, it's like, hey, there's no judgment. I would just like to make you aware that, you need to be drinking a lot of water. You need to drink a lot of water. You need to try to get some steps in, some kind of activity. This is not the time to sit down and do nothing. And you need to be eating protein. It needs to be your number one priority on your plate. And then you need to fill the rest of it with the most nutrition you can. I don't care if it's fruits and vegetables, but, I'm a big advocate, especially fruits, because they've got a lot of vitamins and minerals, don't be scared of fruits. But, I don't really recommend lots of bananas and grapes. I think those run your blood sugar up too fast, but unless you have a healthy metabolic system, but like eat a lot of berries and cantaloupe and watermelon and some of this stuff, but you better be getting some protein in, and you can't be running around eating. This isn't the time to be eating lettuce and protein bars. You need to be chewing your food, real food. So, hey, that's my warning. That's my suggestion. I get no pleasure in sitting back saying I told you so, but I started talking about this 2 years ago and nobody's listening. And now it seems like no matter where I go, whether I go in the hospital to visit someone and I get into these conversations, or, just with clients, or, wherever, family gatherings, whatever. I mean, this topic is just super controversial. That's what it is. And for many reasons, but people need to educate themselves. And there you go. Like with you, just that micro dose, look what it did for you. And yeah, you could have stuck with it. And imagine there's people doing that just so they can, in the next month or two, as they adjust, they can go back to what they were doing. they're that determined to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you all, I'd rather be fat than feel that way. But
Yeah.
instead, I just went back to low carb. I was motivated enough to just go back. For lunch today, I had a ribeye and green beans for lunch today, and
Which that would be a perfect meal on any of these medications. And so then guess what? When you come off the shot, you're just already eating that way. Leave the
yeah,
bread, the rice, and guys, you can eat potatoes and sweet potatoes. Those have vitamins and minerals. That's fine. Eat them like in a fourth a cup or a half a cup serving. This is where people they want a stuffed baked potato the size of their plate. They want an entire sweet potato, and they want to load it with not mushrooms, I'm sorry, marshmallows and butter and cinnamon and sugar. Okay, at this point, you're just eating cake, okay?
yeah.
But I mean, it's just discipline and self-control, and it's making a decision. And if you do have a hard time with that and you have a true food addiction, I think this is a great drug, but this is not a forever thing. This is not a fix. This is not a cure. You can't live on this forever. I mean, wow. I mean, maybe a couple years at the most. Like, I think somebody, before they just start having some serious osteoporosis or some type of issues, you're going to have other problems because, I mean, you have got to get your nutrition, and this, like you just told everyone, it was really hard for you to get any nutrition. You didn't want anything. You didn't even want
I
anything.
didn't even feel like eating, and I
Yeah.
love eating.
Yeah. Well, when I was quote unquote type 2, when I was being mistreated for my misdiagnosis all those years, I took Trulicity. I was thinking it was 2 or 3 years. And I'll be honest, like, it almost caused a eating disorder for me because I did not want to eat. I had to make myself eat. Eating was a chore, and I was trying to lift weights and bulk up muscle at the time. And I just remember how complete, I was just so frustrated. I mean, I would be in tears sometimes. And I remember when I finally came off of it, and I think it took me almost a month or two to be able to eat normal size portions. And I just started feeling so much better. Well, I wasn't type 2. It's just at this point, it was like that was something I was put on and left on. And it was like, well, I mean, I guess I have to take this. But I'm type 1, so you're not even they don't suggest or recommend. It's actually on the box, type 1 diabetics shouldn't take this because your pancreas is just suffering from an autoimmune issue. So it's like you don't come in there and yeah, it's a disaster it can be for a type 1, because once you take this, it's like a gas pedal. So you take it, and so it just decides to turn off and on, right? So it's just being pressed whenever, and you have no control over that. It's just being pressed off and on, just at will, just random. So if you're a type 1 and you're on background insulin and mealtime insulin, because every type 1 lives on insulin, whether you have a pump and you just put Humalog and you just have microdoses going 24 hours a day, or if you're like me and you're multi daily injections. I do 6 injections a day. I have my mealtime injections and I have my long acting that I split. Can you imagine if I'm taking a GLP-1 on top of that? So my pancreas is just shoving out insulin well, I guess at will or best it can. It just keeps the liver from secreting glucose into the bloodstream. I mean, that's really all that's going on. The stomach tells the liver, hey, keep that glucose keep that packed in there. Don't don't put so much, you know, glucose out there. They don't need that, because we're this it's just an automated system of, hey, keep the blood sugar down, keep the insulin release down, keep their stomach from working properly. So this person is operating on very little food. And then in the meantime, everybody looking from the outside is, whoa, you look great. You've lost so much weight. And so then here we go with this psychological thing now that a person is dealing with. It's all a facade. It's not like they went in the gym for the last year and, like, worked their butt off and changed their diet, and it's a whole new lifestyle, and they've like earned this body or whatever. It's and I'm not knocking anybody that does it. I mean, everybody gets to their point of frustration and they just want to lose weight and they feel like they've tried everything. But I mean, it's just not I just don't think I just don't, having this conversation 3 or 5 years from now, I just think it's going to be so many things, come from it that are just not going to be good.
Yeah, I guess we're the guinea pigs. It hasn't been
Definitely,
around long enough to
definitely.
see what the long-term effects are.
the way that it was designed to be used, 3, 6 months, 9 months, even a year. I've seen people on it a year, but these people made lifestyle changes and it didn't start out fun. Like you said, they were throwing up, they were in the bed, they were sick. Yeah, the stomach is the biggest one, but that's why, because it literally slows the digestion. So, I mean, it just does it for you. You have no choice with that. I don't care if you're a big eater, you're not going to be on that. You're not going to be on that. So, yeah, it's once again, science is amazing, and it's but somehow, it gets in the hands of, big pharma sees the money to be made. And in America, what's the biggest thing we talk about every day? If you turn on Instagram, you get on TikTok, you get on Facebook, what is the main thing that people are offering, talking about, doing? What is the main thing that we see? Weight.
Yeah, it's weight.
Like this person. And then there's even controversial topics. You have, big girls is where it's at, the thicker the better. And you got big girls advocating for big girls, and you got these skinny girls advocating for skinny girls, and then you got these muscular girls advocating for muscular. It's like it's like there is no right or wrong. It's just that is the topic, that's all you see. Like, you have young daughters, they get on there and society starts telling them, no, this is what's pretty, this is what's pretty, this is what's pretty. And so wherever their attention is drawn for whatever reason, they're like, oh, okay, I've got to do what I got to do that. So if you see a really skinny girl, or you're up there at work and everybody's smaller than you, then you're like, okay, I got to do whatever now I just got to do whatever.
Yeah.
And so people make these decisions, based off of other things, and then it becomes a psychological, warfare. Then you start talking about mental health. I mean, women have been doing this forever. It's just social media is very puts a lot of pressure on women.
Yeah.
So anyway, weight loss. What can I do to lose weight? That's why people hire me. I need to lose weight. That's the first thing I hear. I just need to lose weight. I don't care. I just need to lose weight. Just tell me what I need to eat. So if you can hand somebody a pill or a shot, I mean, yeah, this is just I don't know.
Yeah. It's very alluring, but really, if you just, the only way to do it is to exercise and eat real food. I mean, it's really the only way. And, I'm lucky enough that my best friend is a nutritionist. And then I hang around with like-minded people. I have another friend who is completely dairy-free. So I'm surrounded by people who eat real food and who
Yeah.
take care of themselves. So I'm very lucky.
Well, and that's the whole thing. Once again, it's lifestyle. So if you're hanging around people that are partying and eating out late at night and drinking alcohol and doing all these things, and you can't mix alcohol with that drug, by the way. You don't even try it, you guys. You're going to end up in the emergency room, because when you drink alcohol, everything shuts down. Everything shuts down and says, hey, I've got to go handle this alcohol. So then your liver is not pumping out sugar, because it's not releasing the extra glucose that, like, someone like let's say you're not diabetic or anything like that, and you go have a drink right now, you're not on any type of medications, your liver is going to start pumping out glucose, because when we drink, a lot of insulin comes in to handle that. Well, all that shuts down to go handle the alcohol. So if you're on a GLP-1 that's lowering your blood, your sugar in your bloodstream and your insulin levels, and you're drinking, you're going to bottom out. I mean, that happens all the time. That happens all the time.
As a person who tries to keep their weight down, I really don't. I don't find liquor like alluring, I guess.
Right. No, I'm using you as an example. I know you don't drink. I was just saying.
No, it's okay. I love a good. When I go to Applebee's or Chili's, I am going to get a cocktail, by the way. But at home,
that never works well for me. That never works well. Like, I had to quit drinking. I think it's been 7 years or 8 years ago. It's not worth it, because I would end up so low. Like, I passed out. One of the last times I did it, Larry found me. I hit my head and I landed on the floor, and it's not worth it, because when you're type 1, you're just going to end up chasing your blood sugar in different scenarios, and that's definitely one of them. And I guess it's one of those things. It's not worth it. So I was just going to give people that warning. A lot of people don't know, and I know people end up in the emergency room. They're like, what happened? And these doctors aren't telling them, not to drink while you're on these GLP. Just don't drink. And I do mean don't drink.
Yeah, well, I find that doctors don't really give you really good information. So it's been my experience and they're just regular people. You have to have your own best interest at heart. But I hope that everybody found this informative. I did
Yeah.
take semaglutide, so I do know what it feels like and what it's about.
I took it for 3 years and it
Oh,
was
you did?
wow. I
Yes.
mean, I think I was on more of a middle upper dose or something. I know that he started me low and worked his way up, but once again, he's thinking I was type 2 and he was just trying. He at that point we were exhausting all our means. I was losing weight, I was exercising, I was doing, my whole body was changing. Everything was going as far on the outside. I mean, I was super pleased, but my lab work, my A1C kept climbing and he's like, this doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense. And that's when I finally went to an endocrinologist, a specialist that ran lab there. I was type 1. I was not type 2. And now it's like, oh, okay. And so just a different ball game from there. I wish I had type 2. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, I would trade type 2 with anybody. Hey, let's go. I'm ready for it. I'll even take a type 2. I'll trade with trade if you need to lose weight. I'll do that too. I'm telling you, if you're type 2, yeah. Please don't think it's a death sentence or a horrible thing. Just go handle it. But anyway, yeah, I've been on both sides of that. I know exactly what that feels like. So anyway, so I guess that's our podcast for today. And too much information, controversial, whatever. We're not on here to judge. Promise you, that's just not what we do. We've just seen all kinds of stuff and just trying to look at the facts, make sense of things, have conversations about things. Some of you guys are taking it, some of you guys are thinking about taking it. We're just putting the information out there and giving you something to think about for wherever you are in that journey. And that's really it. We're just bringing information to the table, you guys, and what experience we have with it.
Thank you guys for listening to our podcast. You guys have a great week, and we'll have another topic next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.